So good evening, everyone. Today we have with us Narhari sir, 2001 batch IAS, a writer and a very creative person. He is one of those few civil servants who are using the power of social media to engage and interact with the citizens and to work with them to solve their issues and their problems. He has also been recognized as one among India's top 10 most inspiring IAS officers in 2017 by the Better India as well. He has also written two books, Who Owns Mo and The Making of Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, which later inspired Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao Yojana as well. So after serving as Revenue Secretary of Government of Madhya Pradesh, he is presently posted as Managing Director of State Cooperative or Marketing Fed of Madhya Pradesh and the Commissioner of Urban Administration Development Department, Government of Madhya Pradesh. So here, sir, your experience and knowledge definitely goes beyond the very short introduction that I presented right now. So thank you once again for joining us and for agreeing to share your experience with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya, for the introduction. Good evening, friends. Hope I'll try to I'll try to talk for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then would like to take questions. I think that should be okay. Can you just come with my presentation, please?
Yes.
So as mentioned, I'm an IAS officer of 2001 batch. I've had some decent postings. Next, please. Yeah. So I've been assistant collector, SDM, municipal commissioner, been collector in 4 districts of Madhya Pradesh, Sivni, Singrauli, Gwalior, and Indore. I've been secretary in various departments, and in my introduction there was a small mistake that I am only MD Markfed. I'm no longer with Urban Administration. I've been vice chancellor from Markanlal Chaturvedi University for small periods of time in between. That's when I was the secretary of Public Relations Department in between. Okay, next. This only to tell you guys that I've had some decent 19.5 years of I've been in the administration. I'll talk about because for you guys to understand how government functions, how administration functions. So my presentation will talk about job responsibilities of IAS officers at the district level and then at the state level. So how we actually function, what are the ways in which we actually work. So one needs to understand that in the administration, there are three important, I would say, systems at work in the administration when it comes to the state government. And the lowest one is the district administration. That is the state is divided into districts. So in the lowest level of administration, when it comes to the systems, it is the district administration. So that is that's what I would say the primary level of administration. The secondary is the HOD level. Like there will be various heads of department. I would say there are departments, and the departments will be headed by head of the department, like education department, health department, higher education, technical education, police, revenue. So these are the various departments which will have HODs, and that is where there will be commissioners for each and every department. For example, I was commissioner public relations department, commissioner urban administration, I was commissioner aviation. So these are all the secondary level of administration, where the government's programs and policies are implemented via these commissionerates or directorates or HOD levels. These HODs are at the state level, and the tertiary or the topmost level in the state administration are the ministries. So the ministries, that is, there are various government ministries, and each ministry will be headed by a minister. So that's where, if you see, if you in Madhya Pradesh, if you talk about any ministry, all the ministers sit in Vallabh Bhavan. Okay, so that is the ministry. That is where that is the seat of administration of the state government. So all the ministers, and on the top of ministers is the chief minister. So all the chief ministers and chief ministers and principal secretaries and secretaries. So this is another thing that you will be talking about. That is the secretaries, principal secretaries, or deputy secretaries, all these guys are part of the state, the ministries, various ministries. If you see anybody having a designation secretary, principal secretary, under secretary, deputy secretary, that means they are government. That is what is government actually. So now, as a part of my introduction, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is there are 3 levels of administration. Number 1, at the topmost level is the chief minister, the chief secretary, the ministries. This is the seat of government. That is government. If anybody says Sarkar, Sarkar means that is the Sarkar actually. And the second level is that I have mentioned is various departments, and they are all anybody. If you find anybody saying commissioner, that means he is the HOD, head of the department. So they are all departments. So in between, at the second level is departments, and the last level is the district administration, which is the third and most important, where there will be a district collector, and there will be various departmental heads at the district level. So this is how the district administration, the departments, and at the topmost level government is there. Now I'll try to tell you guys as to what are the job responsibilities of IAS officer, district collectors at the district level. So district level, the third and most important, that's what tertiary level, the primary level, that's what I've mentioned is revenue administration, that is district collector. Collector is nothing but collection of taxes. Earlier it used to be during the British rule. Later on it became it's no longer the district collector collects any taxes actually. Earlier it used to be the revenue administration, that is collection of taxes from the agriculture produce. That used to be the major tax for the state governments actually. No longer this. Now it's no longer agriculture tax is collected, but the collector name remained even after the Britishers left. And but the district collector manages more than 35 to 40 departments at the district level. Implementation of government schemes and administrative control, these are all the various things that are done. And law and order, that is another major thing that district collectors do at the district level. The district collector is also the district magistrate. So here we understand what is district magistrate, what is district collector, and what is district magistrate. District collector is somebody who has control over the entire revenue administration and various departments. He or she is also empowered as district magistrate under the Criminal Procedure Code, CRPC. So district magistrate is a designation, and empowerment is done under the Criminal Procedure Code. So the district collector parallelly holds 2 posts, district collector as well as district magistrate. So if you listen to that, the district magistrate has invoked section 144 has invoked curfew, or has invoked National Security Act, and somebody has been detained under National Security Act, NSA. So all these things are done under the seal of the district magistrate, who is the same name, by the same name, district collector. So he has to coordinate with different departments of the state government. He also needs to be doing a very responsible job as district election officer for all parliamentary, legislative, local bodies elections, preparation of electoral rolls. So the responsibilities of a district collector becomes very important, and that's why across the country you will find I mean, district collectors position, and as a matter of fact, power is several times mentioned uh, in the media. So district collector is also responsible for overall development and execution of the public welfare schemes at the district level. Next, please. So at the state level, like I mentioned to you, after the district level, we have the second and third important level, that is so I'm combiningly talking about both the secondary and tertiary level, how IAS officers actually manage administration at the state level. So head of one department as HOD or secretary of the department, that's how. Also, we manage companies, cooperative organizations, societies. Like I'm the MD, managing director of a cooperative organization called Markfed now. I was earlier managing director of an organization called Madhyam, which is a society. So there are companies, like I also held a post called managing director of MP Urban Development Company. So we manage these huge organizations which work at various levels, various kinds of jobs, various kinds of activities for the state government. So officers are also responsible for overall monitoring and administration of the entire state and sections of the department. So when we come to the state level, we manage entire state. So our experience, when what we have done, worked at the district level, actually is very, very handy and is very useful to run the entire state, a particular department or organization. We need to coordinate with various departments for implementation of the government schemes, policies, programs. And we also do policy making. A lot of policy making is done. We hear that a lot of rules, regulations, acts, all of these things are actually framed at the state level. So IAS officers are responsible for doing all these things at the state level. So I'll talk a little bit more about what can be more useful to you guys as to how maybe I used to manage, or I'm managing my own administration. I'll talk about some of the experiences in next few minutes. Yeah, next please. So the most important thing that I always mention to everybody is when in administration or otherwise any job, any field that you are actually, you must know your place. You know, know your place in the sense here, jurisdiction. Maybe you must know your place, the area of jurisdiction or the town or city or the place where you are actually working. So in administration, one should clearly know your area of jurisdiction. That simply put it, I would say you must know your place. Secondly, you must know your people. I mean, administration is all about managing various set of activities, things for the people that you're actually working for. You must know your people. Who are your people? I mean, if I am a district collector, I should know. If I am posted in a district called Singrauli as collector, I should know, like, what is the total population of this place? What kind of people live in this place? What is the total scheduled tribe population? What is the total what are the various kind of caste communities live in this particular place, and what are their kind of what is their culture, what are their culture, what is their culture, traditions, what kind of festivals are organized in that particular district. So if you know your people very well, then it will be easy for anybody to actually administer the district. Why I say so? I mean, like, when you know that what set of people live in your district or in your state, you know very well for whom to make laws, rules, regulations, and all those things, you know very well. So one has to know its people. Or for example, I would say in administration, what classically happens is, like, there is a district, the district collector joined that particular place, and it's been more than 2 months, and he really didn't knew what kind of things happen in that place. Suddenly, one day it was told that, you know, there's a huge festival which is going to be organized and some preparations are going on. And the next day, it was found that there was a stampede and 100 people died. And then the collector rushes to the spot and regrets that he should have actually known that such a huge festival takes place. There is a huge congregation of people there, and not enough preparations were done. And he didn't knew that every year lakhs of people throng to that particular place for that traditional tribal festival which takes place every year. So you must know your people. If you don't know your people, you'll not be able to actually administer the district or the state that you are actually living in. Then you must know your laws. Here, what do you mean by laws? Laws here is that where empowerment. Where are you empowered to take decisions? What are the various rules and regulations that assist you in actually taking decisions or actually trying to administer the place that you are working? Do you really have laws? Do you really have? Are you really empowered, or it's only notionally you're empowered, or nominally you're empowered, or you're not at all empowered? And then you realize that one fine day that in order to administer a place, in order to do things in a better way, you actually need some new rules to actually. For example, we are, as MD Markford, I'm doing huge procurement of wheat for the entire state. So as MD Markford, we have just done about 58 lakh metric tons of wheat procurement in last 3 months. So when I understand that I am doing 58 lakh metric tons, that is amounting to about 12,000 crores of procurement in 3 months' time. So I'm supposed to know whether I am sufficiently empowered to ensure that I pay the farmers uninterruptedly throughout this season while the procurement is going on. So if I don't know my laws, or if sufficient laws are not made, then I should make enough efforts to ensure that I am empowered to take decisions and I'm empowered by the laws that have actually been framed. So this is how I would say that anybody in the administration basically should know the length and breadth of the place that you are actually working, the people, the kind of people, their traditions, their festivals, their life culture, the laws that govern the place is what everybody should know. Next. Generally, what I do, what I mean, for in the administration or anywhere, anybody, what everybody has to do is you need to have a plan. You need to plan a day, you need to plan a week, and you need to plan a month. So if you are sufficiently planning your day, week, and month, because administration is all about, I mean, anything under the sky. Administration is all about doing, you need to do everything. If something you are not able to do, it will be told that that means that particular collector has not done his work. He has not done his homework. He's not been able to review his programs, policies. So the time that you have, one must sufficiently plan. So that's when you actually, I mean, if you keep hearing from people that मेरे पास समय नहीं है, I mean, I don't have time, that means you haven't planned actually. That's a simple thing that I would actually mention. And in administration, the amount of work is so huge that you have to manage. It's a tightrope walk. So what I would always mention to especially those guys in the administration, anybody to that effect, is take a paper and write down what actually is there for you this particular day and in the coming week and in the entire month. Maybe you'll suddenly find there is so much of space left out actually for you to manage. There's a lot of time left out wherein you can actually, I mean, like in administration, if you see in this particular thing, as collector or as an administrator, if I am only sitting in the office and trying to manage things, maybe I am missing out what is happening in the field. So as an administrator, one has to actually move in the field also. You must go into the interior villages. As I mentioned to you, you must know your place. In order to know your place, you must keep traveling in your district, in the state that you are actually working, or the area of work where you are actually you are administering. You must go and see actually what is happening. So you must also allocate time for touring. So that's how, if you don't tour, you will not know your people also. You will not meet your people. You will not know what actually are their problems, what they are facing. They might come to your office to explain to you, but not everybody is coming to your office. So that's how an officer has to reach out. You must go into the field. You must spend time in the field, and you must reach out to the people. You must listen to them in their villages, in their houses, and in their localities. That is a better way of actually administration, I would say. So plan a day, plan a week, and plan a month, and you will have sufficient time at your hands so that there is a life balance approach that actually can happen. Next. So what actually in administration one should do? One should actually concentrate on what's a good way of administration. The best way of administration is listen to people whenever they are in your office. So if people have come, traveled even 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 100 kilometers to come and meet you, you must meet them. You must give time to them, that you listen to them. I mean, in Madhya Pradesh, there's a good thing that happens every Tuesday that's called Jan Sunwai, where people come and people spend whole day or maybe few days to actually reach out and come to the collector and want to tell their problem and get their issues resolved. So a good administrator has to listen to people, give sufficient time for the set of people who are actually for whom you're working, and those people who actually spend enough time and then come to your office. So I can paucity of time, but I can tell you a story which really happened when I was collector Singrauli. I used to do this Jan Sunwai very. For 10 years that I was collector, I never ever actually. There was hardly a day when I didn't sit down on a Tuesday to listen to people. I mean, in fact, I never took a holiday on a Tuesday, so that because a lot of people come to explain their problems to the collector. So on this day when I was doing this Jan Sunwai, I found a person whose clothes were totally, I mean, bad shape. A lot of it was all muddy, and he was looking very bad in shape. So I asked him like, कहाँ से आए हो? ये तुम्हारे कपड़े जो है इतने टूटे फूटे हैं और तुम्हारा हालत बहुत खराब है, कहाँ से आए हो? तो ही टोल्ड मी, सर मैं माड़ा से आया हूँ. तो मैंने पूछा, माड़ा तो 30 किलोमीटर है यहाँ से, तुम आए कैसे हो? बिकॉज उसका शरीर पे जो धूल चढ़ा हुआ था और उसके कपड़े फटे हुए थे, द वे ही वाज एक्चुअली लुकिंग, I thought he must have actually spent a lot of time coming to Singrauli from Mada. तो मैंने बोला, आए कैसे हो तुम? तुम्हारा हालत देख के बहुत खराब लग रहा है, कहाँ कैसे आए थे? तो बोले, साहब मैं पैदल आया हूँ. तो मैंने पूछा कि पैदल क्यों आए हो तुम? वहां से तो गाड़ियां चलते हैं. साहब मेरे पास पैसे नहीं थे गाड़ी में आने के लिए. मैंने बोला, गाड़ी में आने के लिए पैसे नहीं थे तो 30 किलोमीटर चल के आए हो मुझसे मिलने? बोला कि हाँ साहब, मैं कल शाम को निकला था, रात में कहीं सो गया था, फिर सुबह फिर से निकला, तो मैं 30 किलोमीटर चल के आया. So just imagine, I mean, if you are in his place, or if you are the collector, or if you are the officer, and the people are coming to just to meet you and explain the problem. Did we ever actually walk for 30 kilometers to reach to go and explain our problems to a particular officer? Can we ever do that? So this is the level of, I mean, the confidence that people also have in the administration, I would say. It was almost, I was almost teary. I felt that what would have happened if I was not there on this day listening to this guy. So I mean, he would have just gone back, walking back all the way back 30 kilometers. He would have gone back without explaining his problem to the collector. So what administrators are supposed to do? Administrators are supposed to actually understand the depth of, the depth of issues that people have problems with, and they are there to actually come and tell you what the problems are and how much patience you need to have to actually listen to people and solve their issues. I told you about touring, Chopals, use of social media, use of technology, as much as possible. Reach out. That is what an administrator has to do. You must reach out. You must reach out to people. You must reach out till actually you are able to hear their issues, their problems, and also solve them. This is what a good administrator has to do, or those people in the administration should actually try to do. So with the advent of social media, a lot of things have become really easy. You are able to actually explain across set of activities what are the various programs, policies, schemes, how beneficiaries can actually reach out to get benefit out of those schemes. And with the advent of technology, like application process has become very easy, and the way we can actually make things more transparent, corruption free governments, corruption free administration is possible with more and more use of technology. So this is what actually administrators have to do. Next. So like I mentioned to you, priority areas for administrators, government schemes become topmost priority, and especially in the field, the schemes that that actually currently going on, and also it's also like it all depends. Like when I was collected Gwalior, initial 2 months, I try to understand what are the specific problems, issues which I should actually take up in Gwalior, so that in the coming 2 years, maybe for 2 years I'll be collector here. So maybe in the 2 years time, what is that kind of work which I can proudly tell myself that I've been able to do some concrete work. So I try to understand, speak to the public representatives, civic societies, NGOs, and I try to understand from the public who used to come to me in the Jan Sunwai, otherwise who used to come and tell me. So I understood that the female feticide was one of the major issues of the Gwalior Chamba belt. This was way back in 2011-12 when I was made collector of Gwalior. So that is when I decided that I'll work on this particular concept, and I devised a scheme called Hamari Ladli. This is different from the Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, which I drafted as project director, ICDS, Women and Child Development Department in 2007. That is a scheme for the girl children, empowerment of girl children. That is one of the very successful schemes of Madhya Pradesh. 15 states copied that Ladli Lakshmi Yojana. And the thing I'm talking about is specific to Gwalior, where female feticide was rampant, and that's where I started a new concept called Hamari Ladli, and we used a technology in order to catch hold of those sonography centers which were into sex determination and later on female feticides. So 2 years of consistent work enabled me to control this menace, most inhuman act in the Gwalior district. About 100 sonography centers were there in Gwalior. So an administrator has to understand what are the specific problems to that particular place and what solutions you can come up with, what kind of activities you can come up with, what like use of technology, that's what I mentioned. Then you must build your team, you must motivate your team, and then get work out of them. And in government, in administration, or even in private sector also, consistency in execution is the most important thing. No results ever show up overnight. One has to be very patient when executing any program or policy or a scheme or a project. But you must be very consistent in your approach, and that's how. And slowly and steadily, when you actually start executing your programs, you will actually see results. And that's what happened in Gwalior. That's what the thing that I've been trying to mention. In 2 years' time, we have been able to completely bring down sex determination in Gwalior district, and there was a huge jump in the child sex ratio within 2 months of time. Next. Okay, documentation, this is what one has to do in administration or otherwise also, that keep documenting whatever good work you're doing, whatever work you're doing, keep writing, keep documenting. So as mentioned, I have written 5 books till now. In my introduction it was told 2, now it has increased to 5. So I keep documenting, I keep writing whatever work that I'm doing, and it's always good actually, in the sense, because as an administrator, as a policy maker, one has to, for the generations to come and for new policy makers and for people to understand, they must know what actually happens in administration, how a policy is made. Like I've been talking about Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, which has been copied in 15 states by 15 states of the country. This particular scheme, it took 1 full year to get prepared and to see the day of light. And I'm just my latest book is called Betiyan, which actually talks about how Ladli Lakshmi Yojana uh, was copied by 15 states under various names, and how after 2001 girl children became a subject of importance for governance in the state governments and the government of India. So keep documenting, keep writing, I mean, those in administration or otherwise also should keep writing and documenting whatever is being done, so that it acts as a reference for yourself and for others in the coming days. Next. So my work has given me a lot of satisfaction. I've taken national awards several times from Government of India, from presidents, vice presidents, for various set of activities that I have been doing. This is for the physically challenged and the persons with disabilities. Next. I've done a lot of work on issues pertaining to social impact. This is on governance. I talked about technology. So how simplification of application process can enable people or citizens to easily get various government services without involving any amount of red tapeism or corruption. Next. Next slide, please. Yeah. Is it stuck? Can you go to the next slide, please?
Sir, actually, it's stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few slides only left out to be discussed.
Okay, sir, just a second. We have.
Yeah, this is what happens if you depend too much on technology as well.
I'm so sorry, there was some network issue. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you on various aspects that I've been able to work, whether creating barrier-free environment or doing, next please, working for the, working in the areas pertaining to giving corruption-free administration. This is Satyamev Jayate. I mean, I was mentioned for the accessibility campaign that I did. Next, please. The last one I would mention, maybe you must have all heard about Ho Halla, this particular song of Indore. If you haven't heard of, I would request to click on this. Is it playing? Shreya, can you just play this?
Right. It's not playing right now. Actually.
There's an icon in the at the bottom. If you can just see left hand corner, there should be an icon which should enable you to play that. Maybe okay. If this is
I'm trying again. Just a second.
no, so use of social media. That's what I mentioned. Indore as Indore collector, I did a lot of work on Swachh Bharat mission. Indore became the #1 city in the country, and citizen engagement. I talk about citizen engagement, engaging citizens, ensuring that citizen participation. That is what is the ultimate thing in administration. If you are trying, if you are ensuring, if you are trying to bring, if you are able to bring on board the citizens, public representatives, civic societies, all of them together on a single platform. And that's what happens to a city like Indore becomes the #1 city and is continuing to be the #1 cleanest city in the country. Next, please. Yeah. You can all listen to this song sung by Shan, which is become the anthem for cleanliness, not only in Madhya Pradesh, but also in the entire country. You can skip this.
गली गली और मोहल्ला करते करते हो हल्ला गली गली और मोहल्ला करते करते हो हल्ला स्वच्छता के दूत बन के हम चले घर घर मोहल्ला हो हल्ला हल्ला हो हल्ला हल्ला हो हल्ला हल्ला इंदौर
Yeah, that's it from my side. Actually, I mean, just to make things lighter for you guys, I wanted you to.
स्वच्छ बनाना है
You can. I wrote the song. Yeah, that's also important to mention here. I keep writing a lot of things whenever I get time, so that you become part. You get involved. Actually, involvement is the most important thing required when it comes to administration. Okay, that's 40 minutes. So any questions, I can try to understand.
I think if anybody has any questions.
Yes. Actually, administration, at least this should have been for 2 hours. But then because of time constraint for me and for everybody, so I made it only for an hour or so. Yeah.
So can we take the questions? So the interns can unmute and then ask you.
Yeah.
And if they can ask on the chat box as well, I think it can work. I can share the question with you. So Soumya Dave has a question. She has raised her hand.
Yeah.
So Soumya can unmute and say.
Yeah, I'm not able to hear. Yeah.
Soumya? So Ashish has a question.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Soumya. Yes, yes,
Oh.
Soumya, now you're audible.
Faces crisis of conscience in administration. Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's a huge, it's a thing that somebody has.
I just wanted to know, being at this position, what are hurdles you face to
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Soumya, I think there's some network issue with you. If you can write the question, I can ask the question. Yeah. The two more participants who have raised hand. Kanha, you can go.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yes, yeah.
Sir, so basically this is not regarding at all in relation with administration, but I was just having a overview about you, and I didn't read much, but I just took a look over a Wikipedia page about you, and I saw there were lots of questions, and we also saw just now when you were showing the introduction about yourself. So my question is basically this: that from the beginning, from 1999, or from the first time when you got a position, finally in the administrative sector, and before that, even while in college days and all, like how did you manage, all these hurdles? And also, as Ashish asked already, like you would have had so many situations during this time period where the situations are so stressful, and only you can introduce a solution for the whole administration, because actually it passes on from you, and then they all get the instructions to follow them. So how do you manage to keep yourself focused towards your goal? That is the responsibility that you have to take care about the citizens and all, even though there are so many family issues and all. Like, how do you manage that focus towards your
See
work?
this. I mean, it's a life is a struggle. It's nobody has ever succeeded without facing struggles. I mean, there's a simple quotation. Maybe I'm not sure exact quotation, but if somebody has been successful, he must have struggled. There's nobody. There could be possibly people have struggled but not been successful. But somebody, if you have seen somebody succeed and come to a particular position, they must have seen struggles. Nobody has come up just like that without struggle. So basically, these struggles and all these issues that we face in life are those steps of the ladder. Okay, to climb.
I mean, sir, like while this, whole time period when you have been working in this sector, like there are many situations, right? Like where you, I would directly say that like these corruption kind of things, they come up on in front of you. Like, okay, people might come up, they.
Yeah, there's a very important question. I'll quickly answer this because
Yes, sir.
lot of guys are
Yes,
asking
sir. Yes.
parallelly in the chat as well. See, I had 8 transfers in the initial 6 years of my service. Okay, so this is what happens in the initial period of your service. So wherein you are not known to the system, what you are. Okay, so when the system doesn't know as a person your strengths and your how straight is your backbone, that's when you are transferred quickly, and there are a lot of, I mean, issues pertaining to handling public representatives and all those things. Then there's a very good thing in administration which everybody needs to understand, even in any sector. That's any sector. As long as you are not known to the system will keep you throwing here and there. Okay, when the system understands, okay, this guy is like this, then the system will start adjusting to your backbone. Okay, in the sense, then the system will say, okay, this guy is like this, we need to find a position for him. Okay, and he will. So when there are many officers, not only me, who actually stand up and keep doing their work, the system understands, okay, this guy is of this kind, so we need to put him in the right place to get work done. So that is when system starts. Public representatives are also very smart, and even the system seniors in the system are also very smart. Okay, so that's when they start. Okay, we'll put him in the toughest position. If this guy is a very tough guy, so let's give him tough assignments and let's get work extracted from him. So that's what happens. So system gets adjusted to you, but initially you'll have to face this problem. Everybody has to face this. The moment you join the system and you start bending yourself, your backbone starts bending, then they realize, okay, this guy is bendable. Okay, so we can give him all kinds of positions. But when people understand that this guy can be tough, he can deliver, so then they start looking at positions according to your personality. So we should keep our personality intact. We should be whatever we are, and the system will find positions for you. For example, I was Collector Singrauli. Like anybody gets a district as collector, whoever is got into IAS. But then there was this sudden issue, huge law and order issue in Singrauli. Ekta Parishad guys know very well. Singrauli, actually, there was a huge law and order problem, massive land acquisition going on. There was a tussle between the tribals and the district administration, and there was firing in the process. And after the whole event, law and order event, the collector and SP were transferred out. And then suddenly they needed an officer who can handle, this crisis. They wanted somebody who is down to earth, can talk to the tribals, can talk to the public. Yet the land acquisition has to be done because about 1 lakh crore investment was coming into one single district, Singrauli. So somebody who can balance. So suddenly somebody told that, why don't we post Narari there? So that's why I was posted as collector there. So I was collector for 3 years in Singrauli, and I did the entire land acquisition peacefully, and I ensured that each and every person who's being ousted gets their due. So what I'm trying to mention to you is that the system is very robust. So system is very accommodative. System is accommodative for everybody. So we need to keep our backbone intact. System will actually give you chances to perform. So there are problems. There are issues where we fight with the with the public representatives, own seniors. We fight with our conscience. We do all these things. Ultimately, we need to believe ourselves. Okay, whatever I am doing is correct. Let me do this, handle this, and then the system will support you.
Thank you, sir.
So Megha has a question. So first she was asking, how do you keep yourself calm under pressure, because the entire job is full of pressure.
Yeah, this.
And then she was,
Hmm.
yeah, please continue.
Yeah, this is very
So
important
she was
thing.
asking,
I'll answer this. Yeah, services is a lot of responsibility. With power comes responsibility. That's a very, very important statement. And the amount of work that you have to do and deliver is huge. But then one has to be and cool. So one has to be really, really physically fit and mentally strong. So you have to actually be yoga, meditation, exercising, something or the other is very, very important. An hour has to be given to self every day. That is very, very important. And then maybe an hour that you do workout, maybe that you give for yourself will enable to work for 10 to 12 hours also in a day. I need to enjoy also. That's another important thing. Whatever you're doing, you must enjoy. If you're not able to enjoy the kind of work that you are doing, you are in the wrong place. So it's better to actually sign off from that place if you're not able to enjoy the work that you are doing, and look out for a thing that you really enjoy. That's how you will actually handle pressures in a better way.
so she has a question next. She has a question next. How the problems of urban administration is different from the rural administration, and what problems are common?
See, basically, administration is all the same. It's the same. It's only what changes is the department. Okay, the department changes, but the administration, as I have mentioned to you, as the backbone, the frame remains the same. It's only the outer coverings and mass that changes. So subject wise, yes, it's urban and rural are two different aspects. But when it comes to core administration, it is the same. You have to actually, you have a system in place, and through the system you have to run. Maybe the programs are different. In the rural administration, the kind of schemes, policies, programs are different. In the urban, the way we do things are the kind of policies, programs are different. But the core administration, the way things are actually administered, same. Yeah.
So actually, Gurpreet has raised her hand. So Gurpreet, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually my question, सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि मोस्टली ये सबके मन में वो रहता है कि IITians मगर जो अच्छे कॉलेजेस हैं वही IAS का एग्जाम क्रैक कर सकते हैं. तो सर आप अपनी जर्नी के थ्रू एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं कि स्ट्रगल इस फील्ड के अंदर कैसे आना चाहिए और परफेक्ट टाइम कौन सा है प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करने के लिए?
There is nothing like perfect time. One has to start preparing for civils maybe when you are in the college. Actually, you can, that 3 years or 4 years should be a good time. If you are clear, one has to be very clear. I mean, like I was very clear that I should go into administration. So I am that Y2K guy when all that was happening, the mainframes. Like I did my engineering from Hyderabad. So out of 60 of my batchmates, 59 out of 60 of my batchmates went as only crazy guy who was actually prepared services. People used to tell me, are you really crazy that you are not preparing for GRE, TOEFL, and you're preparing for civil services exam. So that was the Y2K, and Hyderabad, the place where, you know, half of US Indian population is from, you know, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So mad rush to US that point of. I was clear that I should get into civil services. So that 4 years of civil engineering in Hyderabad, I used it to the best, so that immediately, I mean, I passed out of from engineering in 98. 99, I cracked Indian engineering services in my first attempt. And in 2000 exam, in the second attempt of my civil services, I cleared my UPSC civil services and got into IAS. I was lucky, okay. But what I would say, the base, that 4 years of that base that I was able to build during the engineering was the best time actually. Instead of starting once you complete your graduation and then start preparation, it's better to start preparation if you are clear that you have to get into IAS. It's better to prepare when you are in the college itself.
So one more question. So coaching is necessary or we can prepare ourselves as well?
See, you can prepare yourself, but coaching it's a guidance, you know. Guidance is any day good if it is available. And civil services, an exam of nature of civil services, it's better to go for coaching so that you know the trends, what subjects to take, what are the areas where you need to actually prepare, smartly prepare. So coaching actually enables to do that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Gulpreet. So, Sir Ashish has a question. So, it's
Yeah.
related to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So, he was asking during the entire movement, so did you face any challenges, and how did you manage those challenges during the process?
Yeah, see, yeah, this whole I've been doing this Swachh Bharat things ever since I joined the civil services. Ever since I joined Chindwara as assistant collector after clearing the IAS. That was my first posting. So I've been doing a lot of things when it comes to building of toilets, issues pertaining to behavioral change. A lot of work I have done. But what enabled us to succeed in Indore was something different. Initially, I did this in the rural areas. The rural areas of Indore, we made Indore rural district, the second district in the country to become 100% open defecation free. So the strategies were different. So all that I failed during my earlier district experiences, I ensure that I don't fail this time. So I used to go in the mornings at 4 o'clock to the villages. That is when people used to go with lotas for defecation. So the convincing was much easier when actually people went for defecation early in the mornings from 4 o'clock. So strategies, that's what I would say, strategies, change in strategies, using better strategies when it comes to implementation. So that enabled us to make Indore rural the 100% ODF district, and then we just replicated the same in the city area as well. So challenges wise, yes. So we need to understand how people behave. So you need to actually attack on their behavioral issues in order to actually bring about a change on subjects pertaining to something called Swachhata. So maybe that's what I would say enabled us to really make Indore the cleanest city.
So, Varnika has a question as well. So, she's
I
asking.
can take one last question if it is okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, Varnika is asking, what are the changes in the administrative system from the time we initially started and now, the overall?
I would say rather 20 years, it's not much of change, but yes, we are using more and more technology now. And more and more of video conferencing, more Google chat, Google pages of getting information, Google Sheets for information collection, more and more of, capacity building that we are trying to do with our ground employees, ground staff. So I would say there's change from that perspective. But as we see that the frame, the structure is concerned, it is the same. The structure is by and large the same. Maybe what we are seeing, the externalities or use of social media, use of technology, I would say yes, there is a lot of change.
Okay, so there are still more questions, but
Yeah, you can actually, in the last part of my presentation, there is an email ID that has been mentioned. You can flash it to all the interns.
yes,
You can actually,
I can send it to them as well.
yeah, you can send it to them. You can message me on my Facebook page. Generally, I respond. That's what is known about me. And you can also mail me. You can ask me questions anytime. Generally, I take out time to answer.
So thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So हर सेशन में हम ये करते हैं कि जो इंटर्न्स रहते हैं उनमें से कोई एक ग्रेटिट्यूड प्रेजेंट करता है जो भी सेशन एक्सपर्ट आता है. So this time, Soumya, I wanted to say thanks to you for joining us for today's session. Soumya, you can.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Yes, Soumya, we can hear you.
Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much. It was an amazing expression of work to document your work. What you are doing is truly very lovely, and the insights were really beautiful, and we are inspired for. Thank you so much for being with us. And on behalf of Ansh, it is it is an honor for me to say a word of thanks. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. All the best. Do
Thank you.
well in your lives.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.